morning, everyone, and welcome to your Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name is Susanne, and I have your announcements for the coming week. Ongoing at Neighborhood, Wednesday nights, we have our weekly meditation on Zoom from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. That's open for anyone, beginners and intermediates, led by Reverend Wayne and Jillian. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, Sandwich Sisters are collecting sandwiches for local charities. This is an initiative supported by our C committee. You can write to me for more information if you can make sandwiches and help out. On Sunday mornings, our child caregiver program takes place from 9 to 9:30 a.m. with Zach. That's here in our regular Zoom service space. Coming up on Sunday, January 17th at 2 p.m. is a presentation by Jonathan Rudin called Understanding the Overrepresentation of Indigenous People in the Canadian Prison System. This is a joint project by our 3 communities' social action committees. All are welcome. You are invited to Moira's warm-up dance party. That's today from 4 to 5 here on Zoom. If you plug in some speakers to your computer, that'll help improve the sound. That's here in the service space. Music requests and all are welcome to join in the dance party. Come celebrate Neighborhood's 20th anniversary here on Zoom. The all ages slice of life from 6:45 to 8:30 p.m. That's tonight. We will have stories, music, dancing, ritual, no raffle, but pie. Are you willing to join us? We can't do it well without you. What you should bring is a short gratitude to share, a beverage to toast with, and a dessert with a candle for when the time is right. Maybe a fun hat too. If you join early, you'll be welcomed into breakout rooms to chat with friends and strangers. Spirit Choir is still looking for help with video editing and creative direction, artistic direction. If you can help out, you can email me at music@nuuc.ca. And the Lifespan Learning Committee is looking for new members to join the committee to co-create a dynamic program for our new home. You can email lifespanlearning@nuuc.gmail.com. 2021, the year Neighborhood creates the Knucklehead. Send your prose, poetry, photos, art, music, movies, and questions to knucklehead@marmarick.com. The Knucklehead will be a PDF, a magazine of the arts of our members. January 10th is the deadline for issue number 1. January 17th, issue number 1 is coming out for everyone. And then on the 21st at 8 p.m. is a meetup here in the service space. And then deadline for issue 2 the following week, and issue 2 comes out the 31st. We don't edit your grammar, but we will use the 7 principles as a sieve to receive your work through. And next Sunday, we will be in 2021. Our January theme is Here We Grow Again. Beverly Horton from Hamilton First UU will be here to talk to us on the theme, Here We Go Again. And music will be provided by Susanne and friends.
Welcome to our Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregational service on Zoom. We welcome you here as we stay emotionally and spiritually close in times when we need to stay physically apart. Who would have thought we would still be saying that this 9 months after staff and volunteers rush to try to repeat everything we attempt to do in service on Zoom? It's been a long road. It's December 27th, and we are all at home under lockdown in what has been a holiday season like none before. My name is Gordon Thorne. I will be your virtual service leader this morning. Our minister, the Reverend Wayne Walder, is taking the week off, but I am joined by 3 other congregants, Jesse Corder, Charles Wotton, and Rose Kudlac, and we will speak of our hopes and dreams in the year to come. Susanne Maziarz is joined by friends and choristers, and Zach Getchell will share the hopes and dreams of our younger members. We also have Kathy Campbell and Michael Pogliani, who are doing the Zoom web hosting duties. Thank you to all of them. For the few of you who haven't joined us before on Zoom, just remember to stay muted, keep chat open for readings and lyrics, and don't send chat messages to everyone during service. This service is being recorded for the public both on YouTube and on our new website. Joys and concerns and similar personal moments will be edited out. If you still have privacy concerns, you can turn off your camera so you're not seen and rename yourself. You don't need me to remind you that sacred space and cyberspace are strange bedfellows. Please help me to bring them together one more time today. Now, we have nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Put aside the worries of the pandemic and the holiday season, turn off your other technology, and be present. Let our service begin now. As we light our chalice, I encourage you to light your own personal chalice or candle, or consider holding your hands in the shape of a chalice like this. I ask Susanne to light our chalice as we sing.
We light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts.
And now for our prelude. Susanne, would you like to introduce it?
Thanks, Gordon. Our prelude this morning is a new song by Elizabeth Alexander called No Ordinary Song. What she writes about it is, this contemporary hymn acknowledges our need to heal our wounded world and renew a covenant grown frail, envisioning a kind of song in which every alleluia plants a seed. And thank you to Jessica Eden, who helped me by singing this recording in isolation from home. As we lift our voices on this day, many hearts are heavy with despair. How can our lifted voices find a way to bring us one step closer to repair? If our wounded world we wish to heal, we must sing no ordinary
Good morning and welcome. Michelle and I have been trying to relieve the stress of being locked down in our home by taking walks in the ravines around our city. On plaques in many parks, I'm reminded of how these were the traditional gathering places of Aboriginal people long before settlers arrived. It's a reminder that our homes stand on the traditional land and territory of, at various times, the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, the Mississauga, the Haudenosaunee, and the Ojibwe-Chippewa nations. Indigenous peoples have a sacred connection to the land. Using and participating in a land acknowledgement is a way to recognize the enduring presence and resilience of Indigenous people. It is also a reminder that we are all accountable to these relationships. If you are visiting us for the first time, whoever you are, we welcome you. We pride ourselves in being a welcoming congregation of Unitarian Universalists. Though we have Christian roots, we embrace the many faiths and sacred paths. I invite you to stay after service. If you don't go to a breakout room, I'll be in the main room to answer any questions that you might have about who we are and what we do. Our mission at Neighbourhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. Our theme for December has been widening the lens. As we approach the end of the calendar year, it's a time for reflection and projection. That is what myself and 3 other congregants offer today. The gift of reflection is perspective, a chance to look back and look forward. The world has seen profound changes in this year, with the pandemic changing everything we are and do. No one would have foreseen the changes to the world that we have endured. But we as a congregation have held together, sometimes by our virtual fingernails. We moved our home from Hiawatha to the Danforth. We've renovated a sanctuary that awaits our presence. We are in the beginnings of creating a multi-faith hub. We seem closer to the United Church and the Jewish Circle than our own sister congregations. Nothing is as it was. I've seen great pleasure in this time as Michelle and I cooked and baked together, drank and ate together, and walked and became strong exercising together. It's also been a very stressful time as I came upon things I could not change. Realized the shallowness of my own abilities, at times seen the dark shadows and limitations of friends and leaders and community, as well as in myself. I also discovered I had limits to accepting opposing viewpoints. I realized there were some things I could not accept and abide. My own resiliency, my ability to respond with grace was low, and I needed to let go some things so that I could reconnect. So here are a few of my hopes and dreams for the new year. I hope that our neighbors to the south step away from tribalism and accept a democratic change in leadership that lets go of making America great again and embraces helping our fellow human. I hope that we can find jobs for those of us who are not working, and for those that are overworked, that you find a well of resilience to keep on going. I dream of an end to fear of infection and an end to daily dire infection statistics and mounting death rates. I dream of a time when we are all able to be together again and hug and share each other's space and laugh and sing together in our new congregational home. I hope we will all take a collective deep breath and forgive each other for pandemic conflicts, hurts, and transgressions, and remember the people of goodwill we were. In the words of Maureen Killeran, as we weather winds of change, may we have wisdom to cherish moments of stillness. If we recollect times of challenge and of pain, may we remember also the graceful blessings of our lives. If we look to future unknowns, may we have the boldness to trust that there is unimagined good yet to come. Now, traditionally at this time in the service, we ask you to turn to your neighbor and greet them. In a moment, briefly unmute your device, switch to gallery view, and offer a greeting to those around you. We'll sound a chime to end. So now, take a moment to greet the neighbors around you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good job.
Morning.
Morning.
Hi, Susanne.
Morning.
Hi, Jesse. Hi, Zach. Hi, Gordon. Hello,
Hi,
Kurt.
Jesse.
Hello, Miss Deb. Hi, Brenda.
Hello, Allison.
Hi,
Hi,
Myra.
Phyllis. Hi, Fred.
Julian.
Sigrid.
Charles. How you doing, Charles?
Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi,
Suzanne.
Gotta have the other glasses.
Hi, all.
Morning. Hi, Peter.
Good
Morning. We're going to get the ding dong.
Now I invite you to join me in reading our opening words, which will now appear on their screen. If you're on a phone, just listen to my words and let memory fill in the rest. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here. A space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life. A life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families. Now, as we hold this place open to grace and insight, Susanne, would you like to lead us in our first song?
I would like to. Thank you, Gordon. Our first hymn this morning is number 55, Dark of Winter. I usually like to program it sometime around the winter solstice, and I wanted to get it in this year before the year was through. Beautiful song by Shelley Jackson Denham, a Unitarian from the US. Please join me in singing. Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly. And then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal. Gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me. And then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
Now, all the young and young at heart, please come up and get close to the screen because Zach is going to tell us the hopes and dreams of our youth. Zach?
Good morning, everybody. I hope that you've all had a great holiday so far, and I'm glad to see that you're all here today. So today we're talking about hopes and dreams, specifically the hopes and dreams that we have for the coming year, especially for Neighborhood. So that's what I'm gonna, sorry. I'm sure we've got one hope that we all share right about now, that the coming vaccine works and we can all find a new normal to live in. I've spoken with some of our kids, youth, and members about this, about what their hopes and dreams are for the coming year, especially for Neighborhood. I heard a variety of answers, from a wintry snow theme to a children's concert to a closer relationship between the youth of our congregation and those of our new partners at East End United and Danforth Jewish Circle. Every wish and hope that I've heard about this coming year relies on that first hope, that the world can open back up in a safer way and that we're able to start meeting in person again. So that's where I'll focus my hope and my prayers, into the thought that we might once again be able to meet in person. And I hope that once we do, we remember. I hope we remember what we've gone through in isolation and what we've learned from it. I hope that the Zoom life that we've become accustomed to can be nicely blended with the in-person life so that everybody has a chance to participate in a way that they feel safe. Because I know that once we can start meeting in person again, not everyone's going to want to. I know there are some people who will feel safer at home, and I don't want them to be left out when the world starts back up again. So that's my hope for the coming year, that we're able to start meeting safely in person again so that we can follow all these amazing hopes and dreams that we have for our new multi-faith hub. And that we're able to do that in a way that includes everybody, no matter how or where they feel safe. I hope that our members who are distant are still able to come to our services on Zoom and participate, even when we're holding them again in the sanctuary. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Zach. Our second speaker will be Charles Wotton. Charles is a towering presence in the choir and a steady technical hand on Zoom. He also looks forward to being a greeter again someday. Charles?
Thanks for that, Gordon. So, I feel that perhaps the best choice that I made in 2020 was to sit outside on my front step. It changed my relationship to my neighborhood and even my opinion of myself. I used to live in some fear of running into my neighbors, afraid that they'd ask me for something or bring up some uncomfortable fact about the state of my house or noises I was making. But this year, as I'm sure you can understand, I was kind of desperate for human contact. I live alone, and most of my connection with others was during structured, scheduled Zoom meetings with groups. Now, these were often lovely and life-affirming, powerful experiences. But there often isn't enough room among the tight rows of little boxes lined up on the screen for more casual, incidental human contact. You may remember in the days of on-ground services, a term I like to contrast with online, there were the few words with your neighbor as you sat down, the box of tissues passed to someone in need after joys and concerns, the chance meeting on the streetcar. Well, sitting on my front step brought back some of this serendipity of small social connections. I had neighbors ask me when I'd moved in, when I've lived here for 15 years. I got to actually kind of like my one neighbor who had always irritated me a bit in the past. I came to recognize the regulars who passed me every day on their way home from work, with their kids going to the nearby park or out walking their dogs. In fact, it was one of those dogs, a very energetic young husky mix, who gave me one of my favorite memories of the past year. An actual hug from a living being. So, all this has been about the past, but I'm also here to talk about the future. This coming year, I want to open up more space for these smaller, less structured social moments, not just with my neighbors, but especially with those I already know and love and want to deepen my connection with. I'm not sure how, and I'm welcome to suggestions, but I have a few ideas. With my neighbors, well, sitting on my stoop is hard when there's a foot of snow, but it's surprising, at least to cold avoidant me, how much hot tea and cozy warm socks can help. And shoveling snow, I've found, is a great chance to make connections. As for people I already know, I was really inspired by two dear friends of mine who had a Zoom open house on Christmas Day. They had a Zoom meeting running all afternoon, and people just dropped by and chatted for a while. I think I might try one of my own on New Year's Day. And of course, you're all invited to drop by and say hello. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Charles. I'll try to stop by. This is a special time in our service when we invite you to share a joy or concern in your life. If you are new to this, please open your participants window and raise a virtual hand if you have a joy or concern. If you are here on a phone without a screen, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. To speak, you have to unmute yourself, and to be seen, you need to turn your camera on. Once you've spoken, please remute yourself. Please respect the sacredness of the ritual and refrain from making announcements and telling stories. This is a cherished time in our community that brings us closer together in times that separate us. So let me demonstrate. I would like to light a virtual candle for a concern for all the patients in ICUs across the province and the country, and the committed medical professionals looking after them. This candle includes those still struggling to help residents of long-term care homes make it to the new year and beyond. I light another virtual candle to express gratitude for all volunteer efforts, seen and unseen, within this community that allow us to hold this space each week and hold our community together. Okay. Well, let's light this last virtual candle for all the joys and concerns that remain unspoken in our hearts. Now is a time for meditation. We all know how to do this. Wayne has taught us well. Today, I would like to summon a virtual Wayne and have his voice lead us. So Kathy, could you run that video?
Hello. Just find a place where you can rest. Something comfortable. And we can remember that meditation is really the act of coming back to this moment, being aware of this moment. It's so easy for us all to be distracted by our worries, or worse, our fears, our longings, our anger. But we can come back right here. And truly, that's the act of meditation. And that's what can be taught. Once you're here, well, that's a whole nother story. It's the week over Christmas. And I imagine there has been something that has touched you from your own childhood. Whether it be a smell or a bell, a taste or a touch. Bring it here now. In my life, bringing a memory usually includes many things. The expression on people's faces, my own hopes, the connection to loved ones, they're all in us right here and right now. They're in us, these things. It makes our inner landscape rich. And we can bring that richness to our awareness right here, whenever we remember. And as we do it, we become better at it. And then the doors it can open inside us, well, that's up to you.
I'd like to thank Wayne, who had put together that 5-minute meditation, and all the people who contributed pictures. Our third speaker will be Jessie Corder. Jessie is a longtime member. From a childhood in a Christian home and attending church every day, she turned her back on religion. But the void of belonging and joy of singing she left behind remained to be filled. When she found Neighbourhood, she embraced it, and it has become second home ever since. Jessie, would you like to go next?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My hope is that the pandemic, by the end of 2021, will be but a memory, and we can move on with our lives and rejoice in settling into our new NUUC home. Besides the pandemic, my emotional life has been rattled by the Black Lives Matter movement. As far back as I can remember, I have taken the stand that each and every human being should be treated with dignity and respect. I honestly believe that were that the case, globally, many problems in our world would be fixable. Some others wouldn't even exist. The existence of problems highlighted by the Black Lives Movement are largely social problems pinned on some human beings through the prism of race. These problems then became seen as the characteristics of certain groups or races, which then justified the less than equal treatment towards them. The movement tries to open people's eyes to the existing inequalities, but in the process validates and emphasizes the perceived differences, thus taking on the same attitude as the group they're protesting against. For this reason, I am only guardedly optimistic that many attitudes will permanently change. Without an internalized change switch to the belief that each and every human being is worthy of dignity and respect, stagnation will remain. It will continue to matter whether someone is Black, white, or purple with a pink trim or whatever. At present, social norms, values, and social behavior are seen as a part of a person's DNA. Seeing another human being through these lenses indicates that they can be treated differently, less than. Perhaps treatment may be cruel or benign. It can also block permanent change, and it can also be fleeting, as I've seen many times over the years. My wish is that the change will happen, and so it will enable us to put this behind us and move on to other challenges in our lives, such as climate change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jessie. Now, Rose Kudlac is our last speaker. Rose has been a congregant for some 5 years and is our congregational president. The UU principle that resonates the most for her is respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Rose, would you like to go ahead?
There we go. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. After moving into my basement, it seems plants are taking a larger share of my space than in the past. My hopes and dreams for the future are a bit like plants that I choose to feed and who in some ways feed me. I'll mention 3 today. 1 is remote parenting. 2 is becoming more embodied or physical. And 3 is a transformation of consciousness. To start, you may know that my 2 children, Raph and Emma, live in San Francisco and Montreal. The last time I saw Raph was over a year ago, Emma, in August. We talk every week, but I don't know when I'll see them again. I know some of you have been down this path, and I welcome sharing. On Friday, we had our first Zoom meeting all together, and there was faint talk of someday meeting up. Amsterdam was mentioned, and that feels tantalizing. But the meantime stretches ahead of us, and as we all look for ways to enrich the bonds with the channels that we do have, it used to feel like I was the one often doing the reaching, and now it feels more like they're reaching back, and that feels wonderful. My second hope of becoming more embodied or more physical has taken a turn since my hiking club and samba band have gone on COVID hiatus. Exercise remains important, but I also want to expand befriending my body, which is not quite like hearing voices, but it's in some ways a new companion guiding me, exploring not only moving, but also ways of relating, naming and communicating my feelings, caring for physical things, repairing my home, caring for my neighborhood, which is now Neighborhood's neighborhood, being and becoming of this place beyond my own skin. My third hope is for transformation of consciousness. I often hear Ruth saying at the offertory that the community is alive and needs sustenance. I'm waiting for her to say something about a diaper change. Seeing the community and the wider community all the way up to the living world as alive is a profound shift that I've gone through in the last couple of years. As someone with an IT background, I was accustomed to seeing the universe as a machine. This is no small matter. I think there's a scientific paradigm shift happening, though not everyone knows it. And I think it will help us humans to be in better relationship with the web of existence. This is something that I hope to nudge along. I was very inspired a few weeks ago to hear Thomas Hübl, who's worked for decades with groups on healing collective trauma like Holocaust and colonization. He was saying that he sees a profound shift happening in how groups relate. I think these two things are happening together, and COVID-19, for all its disruption, is teaching us too. So these are some of my hopes and dreams for the future. Thanks for listening.
I just want to thank Charles and Jesse and Rose for sharing for this service. They were very brave to come forward and share their hopes and dreams for the next year. Now is the time for our offertory. In these times of isolation, let's not forget that this congregation exists because of the generosity of its members. If you contribute by pre-authorized withdrawals, thank you. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it. Of course, we can't pass the basket, but for those that do make contributions to the basket, a link is in your chat window and will be on screen for you now. All you need to do is click on it and it will take you to our donation page. So now we'll pause and Susanne will play.
For all that is alive, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use, to build a common good, and make our own days glad.
Thanks, Susanne. Now, I guess I'm going to throw it right back. And Susanne, would you like to lead us in our final song?
Yes, our final song is a chant by Mary Gregolia. She has put out many collection of Gregolian chants, she calls them. This one is "I Know This Rose Will Open." It's hopes and dreams for ourselves. I'll teach it to you line by line. And then Kathy will share a video that Allison and I made earlier in the week, testing out a new computer program, which is very exciting, easyvirtualchoir.com. So I'll sing a line, you sing it back. It says, I know this rose will open. Let's do that together. I know this rose will open. Next line, I know my fears will burn away. I know my fears will burn away. Third line, I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. And the last line's the same as the first. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. So enjoy singing along with Allison and I. Thanks, Kathy.
I love His rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. This rose will. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Thanks, Suzanne. And now, would you like to go ahead and extinguish our chalice as we sing?
Although our chalice has been darkened, we hold the fire within our own hearts.
We had a tradition here of circling around and holding each other's hands. Instead, let's go to gallery view, unmute yourself, and together let us say namaste, which means I salute the spirit.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
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 Everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Beautiful
Namaste.
Bye, Wayne.
Thank
That
you.
was lovely.
Blessings on the new year.
Thank you, Gordon.
Namaste.
Thank you all who spoke and shared.
Thank you, everyone. I'd like to leave you with the words of Nancy Wood. Hold on to what is good, even if it is a handful of earth. Hold on to what you believe, even if it's a tree which stands by itself. Hold on to what you must do, even if it's a long way from here. And hold on to my hand, even when I'm away from you. This service is ended. For those of you who do not wish to join a breakout room, thank you for joining us. Everyone who remains here will be assigned to a breakout room. Today's question to consider in your breakout room is, what are your hopes and dreams for the new year? If you're a newcomer to our congregation, stay in the meeting by saying later to the request to join a breakout room. I'll be here to talk and answer any questions about our faith or becoming a member of the congregation. Breakout rooms will begin shortly. Go in peace.